Hi guys and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm having a conversation with a master's in computer engineering student at NYU Tandon. So he's a current student and he's also my brother. His name is Aman Saluja. And in this video, I asked him a lot of questions that a person who has recently got admit in NYU Tandon would have. So we discussed a lot of things in this video. We discussed about apartment hunting, what is the average cost of an apartment, and how much is the living cost per month. And we also discussed about on-campus jobs, how easy are they to get, and how much do they pay. Also, we discussed about internship opportunities. How many internships can we do? Is co-op allowed or not? And finally, we had some miscellaneous questions as well. So you can find the timeline for all of these questions in the description, and you can go directly to the part that you want to watch. Okay. Also, before starting the interview, I would like to request you guys to please subscribe to the channel, because I'm getting like 1000 plus views on my videos, but I'm not earning subscribers. I only have 190 subscribers, and my goal is to reach 1000 subscribers before August. So can you guys please subscribe to the channel? All right, so now let's start the video.
Hmm.
Hi, Aman. Welcome to our channel. Would you like to please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi Sahil. So thank you so much for having me on your show. My name is Aman Saluja and I am currently a master's student at New York University. I started in fall 21 and this is my last semester. Last summer I interned at Meta, which was formerly Facebook. And yeah, it's been a great experience so far and I'm looking forward to share some of my experiences with the students who will be coming to NYU this year.
Nice, nice, great. So, Aman, a lot of students have recently got admits in NYU, and now they're
Yeah.
wondering where they can actually stay in New York City. So, my question for you is, how much do you pay for rent in New York City, and where do you live?
Yeah, so actually finding an apartment in New York City is very difficult, and I think we all went through the same challenges when we were arriving in the city because it's very difficult to find apartments virtually. So for me, I live in Brooklyn, so it's like a 30 to 35 commute for me from my apartment to the campus, and I pay around $700 in rent, and if you add utilities to that, then it adds up to like 780 or 800. So yeah, that's what I pay.
So, in $800, do you get a private room or do you have to share in that?
So right now I do have a private room. I don't have a private bath. I share it with two other people, but yeah, my room's private.
Great, great. So
Mm.
you said you stay in Brooklyn. So where exactly in Brooklyn do you stay, and where do most of the students stay in Brooklyn?
Yeah, so most of the students who go to NYU either stay in Brooklyn or Manhattan, or some of the people also stay in New Jersey. So, in terms of Brooklyn, there are certain areas which are very common among the NYU students. So, one of them is Bay Ridge, and that's where I'm currently staying. And another one is Sunset Park. There are other areas as well, but these are the two most common areas, and these are the areas where most of the students stay. In Manhattan, the rents are more expensive. So there are certain people who stay in Manhattan as well, but most of the people they stay either in Brooklyn or in New Jersey.
Okay, got it. Okay. And how did you actually find your apartments?
Yeah, so finding an apartment is a real struggle, and it's very difficult to actually decide on something before you actually arrive here. So what I started out with was Street Easy and Zillow. These were the two websites I used for searching apartments, but I did not have a lot of success there because it was very difficult to finalize something, and there were a lot of situations in which I liked something, but we weren't able to move fast enough, and the apartment was already gone. So for me, what I did was I contacted a local realtor, a broker, and he showed me some listings and I liked one of them. So I asked one of my friends who was actually in New York City at the time to visit the apartment in person and just give me a real review of how the apartment was, how the area is it safe, is it convenient, and things like that. So once he gave his approval and all of us liked the apartment, we actually went ahead with that. So I think like the best way is to just search online on these websites, and if you can find the contacts of some brokers or some realtors, then you can probably go ahead with that as well. Another thing which is helpful in searching apartments, I feel, is that if you have some seniors who would be willing to pass on their lease to you, then I think that is a situation in which you can definitely go for that, because there is more trust involved in that. You probably don't have to pay brokerage, and it'll be easier for you to get the apartment. And but for most people, they probably don't know a lot of seniors, so this can be difficult. But if you do know someone, then yeah, that can be helpful.
Yeah, okay, got it. And how much do you actually pay for living in a month? What is the average cost of living? So you said 800 dollars you pay for rent and utilities, but in total, how much do you pay in 1 month? How much do you spend in 1 month?
Yeah, so the total spending varies a lot, and it depends on how your lifestyle is, how often you go out, how often you order out, and things like that. But on average, I think I would end up spending around 1,200 to 1,300 a month, which is like 500 to 600 on top of what I pay for rent. But then this differs for everyone. There are people who can manage in under $1,000 as well. So it just completely depends on how your expenditure is and how your lifestyle is in general. But on average, I think you can manage in 1,200 to 1,300.
Got it. Also, you mentioned that your commute to NYU is around 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm guessing the mode of transport that you use is subway. And are these subways safe for traveling for students? Because I've heard a lot of horror stories about these subways. So is it safe or not?
Yeah, so I think as students who arrive in a foreign country for a first time, it can be a little intimidating, because even I had heard a lot of stories of how New York is unsafe, and of all of the things that happen here. So even I was a little anxious at first, but I can honestly say that it's better than what I heard. And unless you're not traveling at very weird times, like 3 o'clock in the night or something like that, you should be fine. And just for safety, I always recommend people to just travel in groups if possible, never travel alone, because if you're alone, then the risk of something happening to you always increases. But in general, I feel like it's not as unsafe as people say. And the good thing about New York and subway in general is that there are a lot of people around you. So you don't feel that unsafe. Like in other states or other cities, I've experienced that there might be certain situations in which you are isolated with questionable people. So in that situation, I feel it's more risky. But New York is always full of people and it's always crowded. So I think that helps in this situation. And yeah, I mean, there's no reason to be scared. Just be in a group, don't travel late at night or something like that, and you should be completely fine.
Okay. Got it. So now let's move on to the next topic that we wanted to cover in this interview, and that is about on campus jobs. So I wanted to know what are the different on campus jobs that are available in NYU Tandon, and how much do they pay?
Yeah, so NYU's on-campus scenario, I feel, is pretty good. And if you're able to land an on-campus job, then you're honestly sorted for all the semesters that you have at the university, because they pay very high for on-campus jobs. So the current pay is $27.5 per hour, and you can work up to 20 hours per week. So I think like having an on-campus job is very important, because it takes the financial load off you, because you can manage your own living expenses and you feel independent, and you don't feel as guilty as you would do initially while you're spending your parents' money or your own savings. So I feel that having an on-campus job is very important, and NYU has a lot of roles on campus. So you can work as a graduate assistant, you can work as a teaching assistant, and you can work as a research assistant as well. So all of these jobs differ in nature, but they pay the same, because NYU pays all its graduate students the same amount of money. So that's a good thing. And there are a lot of jobs to choose from, and you can actually learn a lot of things while doing those jobs. So for example, I worked as a website developer in one of my on-campus jobs while I was a GA, and I think I did learn a lot of things during that time. And I also worked as a machine learning research assistant as for one of the professors at NYU in a for a very interesting project. So I feel that you earn money and you also learn something. So NYU does offer a lot of good on-campus jobs. So if you can land one, then it will be really good for you.
Wow, that's really great. So, another question I have regarding that is, how do you actually get them? And is it easy for someone who is coming to NYU this fall 2023 to get a on-campus job even before he reaches USA?
Yeah, so I feel that it's never easy to land one, but if you put a certain amount of effort and you're lucky, and if your profile aligns with what the role is, then I think you can definitely land one. But I feel that not everyone gets an on-campus job, especially in the first semester. So there are two ways of getting an on-campus job. The first one is applying through Handshake, which is the portal on which NYU posts its on-campus roles. And the second way is to just network with the professors and reach out to them and ask if they have a role for you or if there's something that they're looking for which aligns well with the skill set that you have. So those are the two ways I feel of landing on-campus jobs. And at the end of the day, the people who are actually recruiting for on-campus jobs can reach out to you themselves as well. So if you have your profile updated on Handshake, you include all of your skills, your professional experiences, and stuff like that, then if they think that your profile is a good fit for something, then they can probably reach out to you as well. So that is something that happened to me when I worked as a machine learning RA. The professor actually reached out himself, where he thought that my prior projects and experiences were well aligned with the NLP project that he was working on. So it just completely depends on what the role is, and you can always apply to the jobs that they post online.
Got it, got it. And on an average, how much do you think, how many percentage of the students do actually get these on-campus jobs? Because in the group right now, in the admitted student groups of NYU, most of the students are discussing that how easy is it to get the job. So I just wanted to know, according to you, how many percentage of the students would be able to get these on-campus jobs?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I honestly don't have a proper answer for that because it's very difficult to say the percentage of people who get on-campus jobs. I feel it's definitely lower in the first semester, but as you move on, people would get jobs in the second or the third semester. If you get one in the first semester, then yeah, you've done something really good and you can definitely be proud. Uh, but I feel if I had to make a rough guess, then I would say about 25% of the people would have on-campus jobs in the first semester. I'm not really sure about the statistics here, but say so. Me personally, I did not have a role in the first semester. I got one in the second semester. So, I mean, it just completely depends on how early you apply, and so it also depends on the batch size. So I feel like
Hmm.
when we actually came to campus, the batch size was bigger because of people deferring their admits from last year as well because of COVID. So people who were actually
Yeah.
supposed to attend university in 2020 also deferred their admits to 21. And then you had the 21 batch in itself as well. So I feel the batch in 21 was larger. So it was definitely harder to land on campus jobs, especially in the first semester. But if the batch size is like if it's lower, then I feel then it can be definitely easier. But yeah, it depends on a lot of factors. But I think 20 to 25% students would probably have a job in the first semester, I feel.
Got it, got it. So you mentioned that you'll be able to earn $27.5 per hour. So for work, if you work 20 hours a week and for 4 weeks you work, you'll be able to earn like $2,200. And I guess in that you can easily pay for your living, right? Living expenses you can easily pay in that.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually good that you're already calculating all of that, the money you're gonna earn. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think after taxes, you can make around 1800 to 1900 if you're working 20 hours per week.
Yeah. So, and if you only spend around $1,400 on average, you can actually save $400 in that case.
Yes, yes, definitely you can. Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. So now, Aman, I guess we can move on to the third topic for the interview that we wanted to discuss, and that is about internships. So I guess in NYU we are allowed to do two internships. So can you please tell us about what are these two internship opportunities, and how do we actually get them?
Yeah, so in terms of internships, the first internship that you can do is in the summer, and that's what most people do. So you can work up to 40 hours in summer in a full-time internship. And there are a lot of summer internship opportunities. And the way to get them is apply through LinkedIn, connect with recruiters, and just networking in general. And apart from that, you can also do an internship in fall. But as an international student, you cannot do a full-time fall internship. You can only do a part-time fall internship. And then another internship that you can do is in your last semester. So if you have 3 or less than 3 credits remaining, then you can do a full-time internship in your last semester as well. So, I mean, ideally, you can do up to 3 internships during your degree, but typically the opportunities in fall and spring are lesser as compared to summer. So most of the friends that I have only did a summer internship, and then they would just go on to do their full-time job.
Okay, got it, got it. So in the last semester, we only have 1.5 credits left. So if you get an internship in your last semester as well, you don't have to take up any course, right? In that case.
Yeah, that's correct. So if you take 1.5 credits for your internship in the summer, which you have to, then you would have 1.5 credits remaining in the last semester, and you can just do an internship for those credits.
Got it. So I know you interned in Meta. So can you please tell us your experience working in Meta and how did you actually land that internship in Meta?
Yeah, so definitely working at Meta was a dream come true for me. And I think most of the people who want to get into software and are from the computer science stream actually want to work in big tech, which is FANG. So the way I landed this internship was through LinkedIn actually. And I had applied for the role long back, and then I was networking with some recruiters as well. So yeah, I mean, one of the recruiters thought that I would be a good fit for the role, and they wanted to interview me. And then sometime after that, I received the invite for the interview. So I think that's the way to apply for internships, and you should definitely reach out to recruiters and network with them. And apart from that, I feel that working at Meta was amazing experience, and I feel that the level of engineering and the quality of code at Meta, how software engineers work, is something that everyone can learn from. And those 3 months in Seattle were a great experience for me, and I definitely got to learn a lot. So yeah, it was a amazing experience in general.
All right, got it. On average, how much do these internships pay?
Yeah, so we are getting down to the real questions now. And yeah, so like the pay, it differs a lot, and it just depends completely on the location and the company's pay scale. So I think on average, companies pay between $35 to $50 an hour. But then, yeah, as I mentioned, it differs a lot depending on your role and the company's pay scale. Big companies do pay around $50 an hour as well in prime locations like New York City and California. But there are certain companies that pay less. There are certain companies that pay more. So you can go to levels.fi actually if you want to find out more about the pays of certain companies and what they actually pay. So that's a good
Mhm.
resource for actually researching all of that. It's not completely accurate, but then it gives you a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Thanks. Thanks for that. All right, Aman. I also had some miscellaneous questions for you. So the first one is, can NYU Tandon students take up courses in NYU Courant?
Yeah, so actually you can take up to 6 credits that are out of department or out of your school. So the process is, I won't say it's very complicated, but it depends on the availability. So if there's a certain course that you want to take at NYU Courant or NYU Stern, then you would have to check in with them if they have seats available, because the preference is always given to people who are actually studying there. So NYU Courant students would be given preference for that course. But if they have seats available, then you do have the choice of taking up to 6 credits in your degree term from outside your department or potentially outside from your school as well. But then you have to get an approval for that. So I also personally took 3 credits from NYU Stern, wherein I took a more entrepreneurial course from NYU Stern. So you can
Oh,
definitely do that. But it's a little complicated because it depends on availability and if they do give you the approval. But yeah, I mean, technically you can definitely do that.
And how was the experience of studying in NYU Stern and taking that entrepreneurial course? How was that?
Yeah, I think it was a really good experience. I think it's very different from how NYU Tandon is. It's more about being in person, interacting a lot, having presentations, having group activities, and I feel that uh, the experience is very different and very enriching. And I feel that if someone is interested towards the business side of things and they want to learn more about leadership and entrepreneurship, then it's definitely something that you can do. And yeah, I did enjoy it.
Okay, good. So the next question is, what are the things that you don't like about NYU?
So I won't say any bad things about my college. I think my experience has been amazing, and NYU has been super helpful in general. But if I had to nitpick, I think the only thing I would say is that since you're in a big city, you do not get the campus vibe a lot. NYU definitely does a good job in having events on campus and organizing activities, but I just feel that our campus is not as big as some of the other campuses out there. So, for instance, I went to UWash Seattle, and their campus was something straight out of movies. It was something very similar to Harry Potter, and it resembled Hogwarts, if I'm just being honest. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely miss that, and I feel that if you're in a residential campus kind of setup, then you can probably enjoy more activities and have the campus vibe more. But that's just a trade-off of being in a big city because we do have a lot of things to do outside of campus, which probably other people don't. So I feel that that is something that it's you can't blame NYU for that because they can't have like a 100-acre campus in the middle of the city. So yeah, I mean, I'm completely fine with that, but I think that's the only thing that I probably missed out on. But apart from that, everything's great, and it's been a great experience for sure.
So you're saying that the only bad thing about NYU is their campus. So a very diplomatic answer.
Yeah, the fact that they don't have a campus is the bad thing.
Hmm.
Yes.
All right. So the next question is, what is the scenario right now? Are people able to find jobs, and what is the job market right now? I know it's pretty bad, but how bad it is? We just wanted to know.
Yeah, so I feel like there's definitely been a very evident downfall, and there was a lot of overhiring during the COVID pandemic, especially from big tech firms. And it's been evident from the mass layoffs recently because you never thought that companies like Amazon and Meta and Google and Microsoft especially would go on and do layoffs and layoffs at such scale. So I feel that the job market is definitely not good right now, and you have to work harder and you have to be luckier. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing to be diplomatic about it. I think it's pretty bad out here, and it's definitely worse than what it was a couple of years ago. So finding a job is definitely difficult, especially in the software engineering tech space. But that's not to say that you can't find a job. You can definitely find one, and people are finding jobs. But it's definitely very hard because of the number of people who've gotten laid off. So there are more engineers in the market, and people are actually not companies are actually not recruiting that much. So it's definitely like 4 or 5 times harder than what it was like 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, it's something that you learn from, and I think that everyone has now realized that you just cannot rely on your past laurels. You have to continue to learn things and be updated all the time because that's how businesses work, and there's no job guarantee, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, it's definitely very hard, but if you work hard enough, then you can definitely find a role, I feel.
Got it, got it. But do you see it getting better in like 1 or 2 years?
Yeah, in 1 or 2 years, definitely. I think that it's going to get better for sure. And but I feel like companies are gonna be more wary now because I feel that they did overhire a lot and they did
Hmm.
have a boom. So for tech companies, I feel that they did have a boom during the COVID pandemic. and now it's gone downhill a bit. So I feel that they are going to be and they should be more wary of their hiring numbers in the future. But yeah, I feel that it's getting better as well now, because see a lot of new openings now, and I see some more people getting jobs. But yeah, in another 1 year or so, I think it should get better and it should be more stable, I feel.
Got it. Got it. All right, Aman. Thanks for answering all of our questions. But the final and arguably the most important question that I want to ask you is, how easy is it to get a gory girlfriend in New York City?
I feel that's the most difficult thing to do, and that is something you should not have on your list, and should not be something that you expect while you're coming here. Just to set your expectations straight, and yeah. But if you're lucky, then probably you can get one.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. All right. Thank you, Aman, for answering all of our questions today. And thank you for having this chat with us. Thanks, man.
Yes, yes, of course, bro. And all the best for your journey at NYU. And if there's someone who wants more information or has any other questions, then you can definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll definitely be very glad to help any juniors.
Great. I'll put our both of our LinkedIn handles in the description. And can you please also
Yes.
ask everyone to subscribe to my channel?
Yes, of course. Subscribe to Sahil Saluja. He's making great content. And I feel that it's only going to get better once he comes to the US. So yeah, subscribe to him.
Chalo. Thanks. Thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye.